All right. So welcome everyone. My name is Dennis Migono. I'm a communications associate at CLASP and the host of this workshop. We look forward to an informative and engaging session. We are very grateful that you made time to attend this workshop on supply chains. This is the last workshop under the environmental and social management policy for SEMA fund. We'll get straight ahead into the housekeeping rules before we can hear opening remarks. So this workshop is being recorded, and that recording will be available on the CLASP YouTube channel after the workshop. We request that as you join and as you participate to please mute your microphone to give whoever is presenting at the time an easier time to present, and also to minimize the distractions. I should also say that we request that you respect the diversity of opinions that will be expressed throughout this session. And we invite you to leave questions, comments in the chat, or you could send that directly to any of the CLASP team members. Finally, a certificate of participation will be issued to all attendees. And so at the end of the workshop, I'll request that you share your name and affiliation, or the name of your organization, as you'd like it to appear on the certificate. Finally, I'd like to now introduce you to our facilitator for today, who is John Amboya. John will be presenting on the topic of supply chains. But before we hear from John, I'd also like to recognize the presence of Anna Luisa, who is a senior associate at CLASP. Anna will be doing a presentation on Verasol. But before we hear from Hannah and John, I welcome Monica to give opening remarks. Welcome, Monica.
Thanks, Dennis, and hello, everyone. As Dennis mentioned, my name is Monica Wamboi. I work with CLASP. And so CLASP is the administrator of this Energy Access Relief Fund Helpdesk, and it was created with funding from the World Bank in order to build the capacity of applicants and borrowers of the fund around specific topics, and these topics are e-waste management, the Global Consumer Protection Code, and then also with a focus on environmental social management systems, otherwise referred to as ESMS. And so under ESMS, we were looking at what does it look like to develop, implement, and monitor such systems. What, when you're thinking about stakeholder engagement and grievance mechanisms, what is that? What are the necessary labor and working conditions that we should consider in our businesses? And also what we're going to be talking today is sustainable supply chains. And overarchingly, we also creating linkages to regulations. So you just going to talk to me. What's that? Let's get to me with para meeting. This can of noise. Yes, and so just what are the underlying regulations, national regulations that as companies we should ensure that we are aligned with as we're implementing all these different elements. And so the Helpdesk carries out this capacity building in 3 ways. It has one-on-one consultations where we invite companies to reach out to us through our dedicated email address, the EARF helpdesk@clasp.ngo. And so through this email address, you can reach us and the team, and we can have a discussion on what your needs are and create a plan for resolution of some of the issues that we will identify. We also have a resource portal where we house different kind of resources, as well as recordings of other workshops that we've had, including this one, which will go up there once this is done. And finally, we have had a workshop series running since June, where we have covered the topics that I just mentioned. And so with this workshop series, we've had assignments to companies, we've had group discussions, and the general feedback has been that it's been really good bring together companies and just hearing from each other at the same time as we're being as we get guidance from our facilitators, just getting companies to talk to each other and learn from each other. And so, as Dennis mentioned, this is the last workshop of 2022. However, we would be very interested in hearing from you, giving us feedback on how the workshops have been and what you would like to see going into 2023.
Yeah,
and Dennis will be talking more
solar solutions.
the workshop. And so going into today's workshop, we are looking at sustainable supply chains. And generally, supply chain include every step involved in getting a product, the finished products, to the customer. It has multiple stakeholders. You could think about producers, retailers. It has multiple components. You're thinking about transportation, distribution, and finally, it also has multiple functions. You have marketing, you have operations, you have finance, you have customer services. But over and above that, we have income sustainability, this word that has been at everybody's lips, and just in light of all the challenges that we're facing as a globe with regards to climate change and the realization that we need to live better in this world if we're going to be here for a bit longer. And so when we're talking about sustainable supply chains, it looks at achieving value for money on a whole life basis, not just for the organization, but also for the society, for the economy, and for the environment. And so to kick us off on this discussion, we'll have a presentation from Ana Luisa Sousa, who will be talking about Verasol, which is and how it's contributing to the sustainable supply chain conversation. Welcome, Ana.
Hi, Monica. Thank you for that lovely introduction. I think I've met in person some of you, which is great, and others I haven't, but I'm pretty sure we're going to have that opportunity in this near future. As my colleagues described, I'm going to talk to all of you about Verasol and what it does for the off-grid solar sector. Dennis, please, you can turn on to the next slide. So before we begin, I just wanted to highlight the objective of my presentation for today. First, I will provide everyone with a general overview of Verasol and what it does to support the sector. Second, I just want to highlight the importance of quality assurance in the off-grid solar markets. Third, give a general overview of the wide range of services that we offered. And fourth, provide more details on two key services, which is appliance testing and certification. And the last thing is just to share with all of you valuable links. The links to valuable resources that Verasol creates to everyone operating in the off-grid solar markets. And the next slide, please. So Verasol, this brand was launched in 2020, and as many of you know, Verasol is really an evolution to the Lighting Global Quality Assurance Program, which was initiated by the World Bank Group. Verasol was designed to build upon the strong foundation of quality assurance that the World Bank Group had created back in, I think it was more than 10 years ago. So what we've done is that we've created a house that merges comparable product data for off-grid appliances and certified solar energy kits into one platform. And then our main goal as a program is to strive to make safe, affordable, and durable products the default option in this market. That's just an introduction to Verasol. The next slide, please. So who's behind Verasol? As it's really a collaboration of CLASP and the Schutz Energy Research Center in California. CLASP is the general manager of quality assurance and with support of the research center, because they provide to us all the technical expertise for us to run every little aspect of quality assurance, particularly for solar energy kits. Next slide. So as we reflect on the value of quality assurance, we need to understand how it really benefits the off-grid solar sector and market actors. For example, it reduces risk because manufacturers, brand owners can signal to investors a commitment to quality, and that can also help investors feel more confident about their investments and purchasing decisions. It can also help, excuse me, can people mute themselves as they join in, please? Thank you. Sorry, so we can also help others make smarter decisions, because with public information on certified products, for example, regulators, professional buyers, and development programs, they can quickly and easily and inexpensively identify products that meet quality standards. We can also support the sector by increasing impact because consumers gain more confidence and satisfaction from the ability of high quality products, and also the participating testing labs within the Verasol network. They gain more experience in testing and knowledge. So knowledge to test these products accurately, which leads to a higher degree of credibility regarding the performance data that we share about these products. And then improve efficiency, as explained earlier, Verasol merged quality assurance services for solar energy kits and appliances under one single program and team, which makes it easier for every actor in the sector to find the information they need. Next slide. As mentioned before, Verasol really strives to make safe, affordable, and durable products the default option in the market. But how can we really maximize the value of a strong prioritization of quality? And that's really through collaboration. And that's why this slide is trying to portray to everyone here. If users did not use the data that we share on performance on quality assurance products, then there's no point on sharing this with the sector. If the Verasol team didn't provide all the supporting services that it does to manufacturers, governments, etc., then there's also no point in doing the work that we do. And if manufacturers didn't really follow through with the feedback that they receive from our services, then products would not meet the expectations of consumers. And then governments, if they didn't rely on quality assurance, then probably these instruments would not influence the policies and tax duties that they would design to stimulate growth in the marketplace. Next slide. As explained before, Verasol supports the growing global market of modern off-grid solar solutions, and how it does this is through this comprehensive suite of quality assurance services. All these services, the ones that we presented here, help sector actors implement and improve quality assurance across all areas of the market. Today, as I said earlier, I'm going to focus on providing more details of two, which is the certification piece and the appliance testing piece. Next slide. Okay, so it's important to note that we have different quality assurance interventions, based on a product's market maturity. What this means is that as products mature and grow, their services will continue to evolve as well. Verasol really offers certification for the most mature product types, including solar energy kits and soon to be refrigerators. These products are tested and evaluated to internationally recognized quality standards. For less mature products, as this chart, as this image tries to portray, we perform product testing and performance benchmarking to help manufacturers improve their products. But the difference is that they don't receive a certification. They're not tested to an international standard. That doesn't mean that that's not going to meet the aim towards the future. It's just that it's where the products are currently in the marketplace. I can answer more questions about this if anyone has any later in the presentation. Next slide, please. So why do we certify? Really, this came out to address a problem need that was being observed in the Arctic solar sector. As most of you already are aware, there are varying levels of product quality and durability, which means that some products are designed and manufactured well, and others may fall short on the expectations for safety, durability, and performance for consumers. So what Verisol, well, the World Bank and now Verisol, what they did was create a service that would certify solar products to recognize standards for this quality features, durability, truth in advertising, etc., thus encouraging the identification and confirmation of product quality to key actors in the marketplace. Next slide. About the certification, as many of you know, Verisol is a third-party certification program, and we provide certification to solar energy kits with PV modules up to 350 watts, and plug and play and non-plug and play kits. What we don't yet certify are systems with AC outputs, outlets, inverters, etc. That doesn't mean, as said earlier, these product types will not be included in the scope of the certification. That is, our decisions to when and how will depend on the market needs. So we'll see as time goes by how this will play out in the future. Next slide. So as I said earlier, the certification is for solar energy kits, and we test products to internationally recognized quality standards. And these are the IEC-9-8 standards, which contain 4 core aspects of product quality, which is truth in advertising, consumer protection, safety, and durability. Quality standards really, for us and for the World Bank Group when they designed it, it really defined the base level of quality to protect and better serve consumers, buyers, and sellers. Stakeholders such as national governments, procurement programs, and other organizations recognize standards to keep substandard products out of the market and ensure that the products they support are of higher quality. And next slide. The certification flow, it really requires very common, simple steps, and the time frame varies depending on the product's technical features. But it all starts with our clients contacting Verisol. Then that requires some sort of paperwork that clients have to submit to us. Once that all that is completed and the process is formalized, either with an agreement or whatnot, we then start the coordination of sampling and shipping. Then once the products get into the testing laboratory, the labs begin testing. And then once that is completed, Verisol reviews the test results before sending those to the clients. And then once the result review process is completed, we provide clients with a letter that describes what those results mean and any recommendations for further improvement. And if the products meet all the requirements of the quality standards, they will receive what we call certification files, which is a Verisol certificate and a specification sheet or spec book, depending on what the product is. And then those documents are publicly posted on our website in the Verisol product database. Next slide. To date, we have more than 200 solar energy kits certified by Verisol, and these are coming from at least 72 manufacturers. So this is just to highlight the variety of products that are out there and the clients that we've been serving for many, many years now. Next slide. Appliance testing is the other certifications, not certification, the other Versal quality assurance service that I wanted to describe for you all today. So Versal, for appliance testing, Versal builds technical foundations to enable the testing and data sharing of seven different types of off-grid appliance and productive use. These are TVs, refrigerators, electric pressure cookers, solar milling fans, water pumps, and egg incubators. We developed appropriate test methods for these products and work with test labs across the world to train them to test products according to these methods. We are also constantly expanding our list of appliance types to test based on market demand. The data that we generate gives market actors the tools they need to design and procure high-quality products. Again, one differentiation of off-grid appliances compared to solar energy kits is that the testing of appliances is not evaluated to any standards. We only share data on these products. Next slide. Appliance testing, how it works. It's a little bit a lot simpler, or not simpler, maybe less steps than the certification flow. But first, we randomly sample products directly from manufacturers or by visiting retail shops across, I would say, I think it's 11 key countries right now. Next, we test products according to off-grid test methods with one of our qualified test labs. Then Versal reviews the results and shares the data with the manufacturer along with the recommendations for improvement. And lastly, we post the product on the Versal database, which is a tool buyers and programs use to source good quality products. Next slide. This is another snapshot of the number of appliances that we have tested with this approach, so that people have like a general idea of how many products have actually gone through the whole process. Next slide. Data sharing and why is it important? I just wanted to explain this for everyone. The reasoning behind creating one house for the information, the performance data information of appliances and solar energy kits is because there was an absence of a central repository tool that would provide reliable third-party data of tested products. So that's how we decided that it was necessary to create what we call today the Versal product database. So the product database, this is how it would look like from a first glance if you go to the Versal site. It's really for us a tool that provides free and easy access to data on more than 600 tested and or certified solar products. And users can really sort, filter, view, and download the data depending on their needs. And you can access all of this amazing information through our website. Next slide. And these are just the benefits of users using the database. Like manufacturers either benchmark the performance and durability of their products against others. Distributors can just make faster informed decisions by sourcing the products based on the details that they need. And investors validate if a product is of high quality by checking if it's listed on our database, and governments can have easy access to a product certificate and documents of quality if they need to confirm so as well. Next slide. And these are just the links here of the many resources we created for actors in the sector. You can click on each of these two links and they will lead you to the section of our website where you can access all of that. I'm just leaving this for questions, and I think we can wrap it up because the last one is just how you can contact me and anyone else on the Versal team. Okay, Dennis, I think I'm done.
Okay, I
Um,
was just about to ask, does anyone have any questions, Juan? Comments, reactions to the presentation? If you do, please just unmute and then go ahead and ask your question.
Hello, Dennis.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm okay, and how are you?
I'm well.
Okay, I just have 2 questions
Yes.
on the presentation. The first one is step-by-step process. I just wanted to understand, does it mean it's only the companies that write to Verasol for certification, or maybe Verasol also does the research, like going worldwide, like checking to see which products they can also consider on their verification?
hi,
The other
yes.
question,
Go ahead.
the other question is, once you verify the products, how often do you check on those certified products to see if they maintain the qualities that you certified them for?
Okay, I can take on these questions. First, on the step-by-step process, the general scenario is that companies reach out to us, but we do have, as I call them, ambassadors of the Verasol brand that do talk in public settings about our services and encourage companies that may have products that could go through the process and benefit from the services that we offer, guided towards contacting us. But in my experience as managing this program, the most common scenario is that companies come to us, but that doesn't mean that we don't advertise the benefits of working with Verasol to others, if we have the opportunity to do so. And your other question is that how often do we check? That is also a service that we offer. We call it market surveillance. For certified products, the validity of the test results is 2 years. So within that 2-year framework, we will work with local partners to address issues that could be labeled as non-compliant, depending on the information we receive from the marketplace, to make sure that the product is actually performing as advertised. But that's more, I would say, a reactive approach than a proactive approach. But yes, we do check products in the marketplace to make sure that their performance is maintained throughout the 2 years of their certification. Does that answer your questions?
Yes. And have we ever come across some cases to say maybe the satisfied companies that have been maybe derailed somehow? Have you had such cases?
We've had information come from the marketplace of people sharing concerns of a particular product, and when that has come to our knowledge, then we start, the communication process with the relevant manufacturer or brand owner to understand what's going on and have more details of the issue. And if there is really an issue, if the claims of non-compliance are actually true, then we will develop the appropriate guidance of next steps of what companies need to do to correct the issue and remain compliant.
Okay, that sounds good. The final question is, what are your actions in terms of, to say, some people who have known about your company and they've decided to report about a certain product which is not of good quality, reporting to you, but that company or maybe the manufacturer of that product is not satisfied by you? what action do you take?
Let me see if I understand your question. You're saying if you're talking about a client that we serve not being satisfied by our services?
Yes.
Similar approach, we try to understand more about what the issue is and where we could improve the way that we provide our services. This is to say that it would be more on a case-by-case basis. Every client has different needs because products are different. So it's just understanding more on how we can further improve our services to our clients. I don't know if that answers your questions, but please let me know if it does.
Yes. Okay, thanks for answering all the questions.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll go next. This is Joshua. I just have actually two questions also. My first one could be the standards that maybe Verasol is applying in terms of inspecting the items. Does it have a difference of what Bureau Veritas, the likes of HS, SGS, Intertech and all the like? Is it different from what they're doing? Number two, are you guys dealing only at the manufacturer level or at the point of importation? Where does Verasol come in at this point?
In terms of the question regarding the standards, I can provide you more details via email, and if Dennis, please, can you connect me with, is it Jonathan who asked this question? Was it you, Jonathan, who asked that question? Hello?
Yes, it was.
Okay, yeah, so Jonathan, I will provide you more details on that answer via email because it can become very technical, so I don't want to cause any confusions on standard requirements, but there is a difference in short. And then for the other question, can you remind me again the other question? Sorry.
Yeah, in terms of inspecting the solar items, or rather the solar industries, in terms of inspection, do you do it at the manufacturer's level or you're doing it at the importation point?
It's more on products already in the marketplace. That's not to say that we don't try to support, for example, PVOC organizations at the time of import, but it's not within the business scope yet of Verasol to do that. But we do provide supporting information to governments or PVOC companies for them to identify or have the information they need to identify good quality products at the time of import. But our main approach is already when products are in the marketplace. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I thought maybe you're doing the same thing that the other Bureau Veritas standards at the country level are doing, but yeah, that clarity clarifies it all.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that insightful presentation, and I hope everyone on the call learned something about Verasol. John, if you're on the call and you can hear me, please proceed. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Dennis. And thank you, Anna and Monica, for that background. And I'm very glad that Anna could spare her time also to come and just give a background about what they do at Verasol. And I think this connects with what I'm going to present on, which is on supply chains. One thing that I'd like to clarify about supply chains is that it's an issue that many businesses in the world are grappling with, and they're always working around trying to create certainty in the supply chains for the different raw materials. and so on. So from time to time, you'll hear something like the Rainforest Alliance. This one's try to certify, I think, mostly agricultural produce, so that whenever somebody consumes the product, maybe in Europe or in the US, they know that if any product is certified by the Rainforest Alliance, then the process that has gone into its production has been sustainable. Other certification schemes, I think we have the Forest Stewardship Council that is mostly about sustainable management of forests. And then also the other one is the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil Production. So these are efforts that are being made by companies in the world, mostly the companies, the huge multinational companies that just try to create some certainty in the supply chain. The presentation will try to just provide an overview. Having a sustainable supply chain is good for your business. So next. So and I thought it good for me to start with the Energy Access Relief Fund supplier requirements. So from the review of the information that has been shared since the fund was launched, is that there's a requirement there that the fund is trying to manage supply chain risks, and there's a mention about companies that are suppliers of solar off-grid systems that are based in China, Xinjiang province. And I think the reason why the fund is so keen on that is that there are some preliminary findings that demonstrated that there is an aspect of forced labor and human rights abuses that are being done in the production of the different solar off-grid products from there. So, and I think the fund also went further to try and highlight some of the companies that are thought to be guilty of that. And I think you can see the names there. So the other thing from the fund was for every borrower was supposed to furnish the fund with a list of their primary suppliers and the questionnaire that they were required to fill. And then from that list, I think the screening was done to identify the companies that are based in that province in China. And if any were found to be there, then the fund requested that you can, if you're willing to change. The only reason for you to get funding is if you are willing to change the suppliers from those listed. So the next slide. So the other aspect in the fund that is the fund is very keen on, that touches on supply chains, is that how does the borrower ensure that there's no child labor or forced labor that is used in the operations or in their supply chain. So, and the fund was keen to find out if there are any covenants that that the borrower is using with their suppliers or contractors to make sure that there's no child labor and forced labor in the operations. So the other thing was about if the company has done any assessments on its suppliers. So if the answer was yes for that, you're supposed to answer to provide the evidence or copy of the audit reports from that assessment of your suppliers. So and then lastly, from the fund, in terms of monitoring, I think they were keen to identify how many of the borrowers were having their primary suppliers from Xinjiang province in China, and how many were willing to change their suppliers. So those were the requirements from the fund. And let's go to the next slide. So with that background, now we can just try to look at some aspects about sustainable supply chains, and we look at two definitions. So the first one we'll use from the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply. So they define a sustainable supply chain as a process where organizations meet their need for goods and services, works and utilities in a way that achieves value for money on a whole life basis in terms of generating benefits, not only to the organization, but also to the society and to the economy, while also minimizing their damage to the environment. So I think this is a common theme that has been running in our workshop since the beginning, that a company should always strive to deliver benefits that go beyond its operations, its organization, to the society and the economy, and also not damaging the environment. So and supply chains are not exempt from that process. Next. So previous slide. The second definition that we have for supply chains is from the UN Global Compact. This is an organization that is guiding companies towards sustainable development. So they define sustainable supply chains as the management of environmental and social impacts and the encouragement of good governance practices throughout the life cycle of goods and services. The objective of supply chains as sustainability, they say it's to create, protect, grow long-term social and economic value for all stakeholders involved in bringing products and services to the market. So once again, it's about the value that the company is bringing, not only to itself, but also to the society, and also ensuring that the goods and services that are provided by the company, they are not damaging to the environment. They are not having negative impacts to the society. So the UN Global Compact goes further, and they have principles that they expect companies that sign on to their charter to align with. Next. So they have 10 principles, and most of these principles are mostly by the whole company, but mostly touch on the production of goods and services by the company. So it's about the protection of human rights, and I think we discussed this in detail from the last training when we covered business and human rights. The other principle, number 2, is about the companies exercising duty of care to make sure that they are not complicit in human rights abuses, even in their supply chain. So the other 6 principles are about labor. So are the businesses upholding the fundamental principles to right at work? So for example, are they allowing their employees to freely organize into unions? Are they allowing their employees to undertake collective bargaining? And then the 4th principle is about elimination of forced and compulsory labor. The 5th one is about total abolition of child labor in their production. And then the 6th one is about elimination of discrimination with respect to employment and occupation. So all these aspects we covered in the previous training. And the emphasis that I want to give here is that they also apply to the supply chains. Next. So under the fourth cluster, for the principles, we have the ones that touch on the environment. that says that companies should always support a precautionary approach to environmental challenges. And I think we talked about this, where you need to identify, you put in place measures to identify environmental and social impacts emanating from your operations. That is adopting a precautionary approach. And then the other principle, you should be proactive in terms of undertaking initiatives that promote greater environmental responsibility. So in everything that you do as a company, you should always ask those questions that is the activity or the action that we are taking enhancing or promoting environmental responsibility, or is being negative in terms of it is resulting in an adverse impact. So principle number 10 is about being proactive in terms of adopting environmentally friendly technologies. So and the last one is about anti-corruption. So are you trying to make sure that your operations as a business are free from corruption practices? And also, are you willing to extend this to maybe your suppliers and so on? So next. So in terms of the business case for having sustainable supply chains, there's that aspect about financial benefit in terms of it reduces the cost for operating. You get more efficient and sustainable goods and services. There's that aspect about risk management. For example, if maybe you're found to be using child labor, there's a probability that maybe a business might be closed by the authorities. There's that proactive aspect also. You create goals as a company, and you make a commitment to make sure that those goals are realized. So you take that initiative. And the driver for that mostly is about if you want to promote a good organizational culture, you have to have good values and ethics in your business. So, and on that also, for you to realize those goals is about, you say that one of the goals that you want to meet is to have sustainable procurement practices and policies in place. Next. So another driver for sustainable supply chains is responding to stakeholder expectations. So you look at the context or the operating environment, that if there's that agitation for businesses to engage in sustainable procurement, maybe there are laws that require for you to undertake sustainable procurement practices, then that means that you'll be responding to stakeholder expectations. And another example I can give here is from the fund, the Energy Access Relief Fund. For them to finance your business, as we started, you saw that they put in place some requirements for you to comply with in terms of supply chain issues. So that is one aspect of responding to stakeholder expectation. And then the other driver for sustainable supply chain, I think the last one is attractiveness. So what is the reputation that a company can get from having a sustainable supply chain and undertaking good procurement practices? So you look at the different drivers, and then you just choose which ones are really important for your business before you design a sustainable procurement policy or strategy. Next. So there are several procurement principles that guide the sustainable procurement or sustainable supply chains. And some of them that, one of them that I picked is from the World Bank group. So the guidance is that for you to have a meaningful supply chain, that it must deliver value for money. You don't just spend money, maybe pay high prices for goods and services that maybe you're not going to recover the costs. And then the other guidance they give is that it's about the economy. You look at the operating environment in your country. Is there a leaning towards sustainable procurement? And then from that, you are able to decide whether it's a worth go or not. And then the other guidance is it's about integrity. Is it going to improve the reputation of your company, or the standing in the environment that you operate in? Then the other one is the other driver or principle is the process fit for purpose. The process that you design for a sustainable supply chain must be fit for purpose. You should not engage in a process that maybe is going to use a lot of resources from your business, thereby strain your bottom line. And then the other principle is about efficiency. You engage in sustainable supply chain for you to have or improve your operations, or maybe the products and services that you're offering to your different customers. So for you to make a case for sustainable supply chain, it has to be efficient. And then also in terms of transparency, are you able to provide or design a process that is beyond lock out other people, that provides an equal opportunity to everybody? One is about fairness. Are the prices that you want to offer, or maybe the goods and services you want to procure, are they fair? Are the prices making sure that whoever is supplying you, they also get their margins, or it does not hurt their bottom line? So next. So, and I think Monica talked about this when she was doing the introduction. So sustainable procurement or supply chain starts from the point where you identify there's a need for you to purchase something, and continues through your planning to purchase, your preparation of the specification of whatever good or service you want to purchase. When you are making budget allocations or considerations, when you're selecting the suppliers, awarding their contract that you've awarded to supply. The last day of the warranty period ends. Next. So the key to achieving an effective sustainable procurement is defining a fit for purpose procurement process. I think we've talked about that. So, and you have to look for sustainability opportunities and risks that ought to be managed throughout the process. However, if the assessment, analysis, and procurement strategy needs to be proportional to the size and nature and complexity of the procurement. So just to emphasize this, as I started, I say that the issue about having a sustainable procurement is a big issue, and most companies, even the most established, are still grappling with. So you don't design a process for your company that maybe is fit for a company that has over 10,000 employees, or maybe that has operations in over 20 locations and so on. So you look at your scale, the size of your company, you look at the nature of your operations, and then the complexity of the activities to decide on what level are you going to start in terms of ensuring that you have a sustainable supply chain. Maybe you can just ask the companies to, maybe their suppliers, maybe to prepare something that touches on forced labor or child labor. You can, so it depends on your scale. Yeah. So next. So the several steps that we can use to define, to design a sustainable procurement process. So the first one is about identifying which supply chain related regulations affect your company. So, and this you can do from reviewing your country specific standards, if there are any standards that touch on, if you're a dealer in off-grid solar appliances, you can check in your country if there are any standards that have been prepared for that. You can look at the laws that have been passed in that country, and you can also, as you said, taking the initiative, you can also look at any voluntary commitments that are in place. So, and when you look at this legal and institutional regulatory frameworks, you mostly you want to understand which areas of the business they can affect, or areas that you need to have a certain measure of compliance. So next, after the review of legal and regulatory frameworks, you create and assess the suppliers against a code. The code that is we are talking about here is, maybe if you do the review and you found there are some requirements that you need to comply with, you can start assessing your suppliers against those requirements. Or maybe you get suppliers to provide an attestation. Mostly I find companies asking like, do you have like certifications? Maybe you have ISO 14001 that is touching on environment. There are those certifications that touch on quality control. I think there is 9001, and those ones that touch on environmental health and safety. So you can request to suppliers to provide this information if they have. Next. So, and then the other issue, and I think Anna talked about it when she was doing a presentation, is the consistency. In terms of, are there any standards that you need to follow when you're designing a sustainable procurement process? So what is usually advisable is you look at the global frameworks that are around. For example, the Global Reporting Initiative, if there are any requirements there on supplier assessment. Also, we've talked about the UN Global Compact, and also the Sustainable Development Goals that are currently guiding the efforts by different stakeholders in the society on embedding sustainable development practices in the world. So, and the advice that is given here in terms of the approach that you choose is that to make sure that the parameters are cross business, so they touch on multiple areas. So they can touch on risk, legal, they can touch on sustainability aspects, they can touch on health and safety, and also information security. So after you've assessed the suppliers, you need to utilize the assessment information. For example, if you find the companies or suppliers that are non-compliant, you need to communicate that information to them, and after you've communicated that information, we can use also that information in terms of their performance in that assessment to start working on something like to help them implement processes that can set them on the journey to be compliant to your needs, and also maybe review their current processes to comply with whatever requirements that you put in place. Next. So lastly, the last step is about review and audit. So you link further assessment to the review process. For example, if you find a supplier was high risk, so you take that initiative to try and de-risk whatever points that they had not scored well, or maybe you perform further assessments to understand really why they are scoring, they're getting a rating of high risk. So, and then I think I've talked about this. You also look for the opportunity to work through with them in terms of improving their plans. So, and I think that last point is what the Energy Access Relief Fund was looking at initially when they were trying to identify suppliers from Xinjiang province in China. So they want you to provide that information and then also guide you through how you can work around it so that you're compliant with their requirements. So these five steps that I've discussed, you can find them on that link that I've shared there, so that you can do a further reading. But another thing that I'd like to emphasize is that there is no one size fits all in terms of sustainable procurement or supply chains, because we have so many initiatives around the world. I think you can do your independent research to identify which initiatives or programs that can work for your business. So that is my short presentation about supply chains. And now I'd like to invite questions or comments from you.
My name is Patrick.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi, it's a slight correction on a slide that had a website for the CIPS. It's not .com, it's .org.
Okay, which presentation was this? Could you confirm?
There's a slide, the one that was before this last presentation.
Oh, okay.
Yes, there's a website that has been referenced there as a .com, but should be .org.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, thank you for that correction. So at this point, there being no other questions, we will proceed to our feedback session. So during this feedback session, we want to know what your general experience has been with the workshops. So the floor is open to anyone who can share their feedback on that question. Would also like to know if there's a particular element or a particular type of content that you'd like to see, maybe a particular topic. And then are there any areas that you think we should improve on, and how can we make the workshops better? Yeah, so I'll open the floor to anyone who is willing to share.
Hi, Dennis.
Hi.
Yes, for the several meetings, the workshops that I've attended, they've been good and well presented and eyesight opening. And I would say it's good that we've been having these workshops. Of course, I joined late, but from the workshops that I've attended, they've been so helpful.
Okay, all right.
Sure.
Thank you. Is there a particular topic that you'd like us to cover more on, or maybe if you're doing another series, you'd like that topic to be featured again?
I would take more part of certification of the off-grid products. If you can dig deep on that and maybe find the measures on how you can go around it, because if that can be done thoroughly, I think it would help a lot of people, because we have a lot of products which are selling. Like if we take, for example, our country here in Malawi, we have some of the products which are not good. So they're like causing problems to financial of people, more especially poor people. So if that can be also like have a wide angle on it, it would be good.
Okay, all right. Thank you. So we also have feedback on or contribution from Sabatha in the comments, who says that we should explore carbon credit trading. So that we've noted that. Thank you for that comment. All right. I would like one more person to contribute.
They must talk.
Yeah. All right, so I'll just call out names. There's Michael Kiaria. Michael, if you can hear me, please unmute. And even if you've only attended today's session, you could just give your feedback on what your experience has been and what you'd like to see the help desk do more of for you.
Hey, Dennis.
Hi.
Sorry, I think I joined in a bit late.
That's
quite an experience. I believe this is my second workshop. Probably you've forgotten me.
Yeah, I remember your name. Yeah.
It was awesome. The procurement, being in procurement, I think the session on procurement was awesome. I will agree with someone who commented on, the carbon credits. I believe if we have more information on that, I think it will be more informative. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that comment, Michael. Taiwo, I know you've also attended a number of these, so kindly. What's your experience?
Thanks, Dennis. Yeah, so I'll just, sorry, I joined late as well, but so missed today's seminar or webinar, so looking forward to listening to it later. But I'll just say, like, the human rights was really very, very not innovative, very educative, and just to understand the country specifics, like different rights in different countries. But at the end of the day, we're all humans and we should treat each other nicely. So that was a really good seminar. Then just like someone mentioned, carbon credits, there's a lot of topic about carbon and about how we can help the climate. So yes, we want to improve the climate, clean energy, but how can we make money from this as well? And that would be a topic to explore for our future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Taiwo. Jace, if you can, I know you watch our recordings, I hope. Do you have any feedback for us?
Let me see. I actually am very keen on the carbon credits, maybe a bit of history, because a long time ago, we had lots of conversations about carbon credits. And then when it became not very popular anymore, not very cool on finances, a lot of people dropped it. But I think it's a very timely area again to discuss this moving forward. Other than that, I've enjoyed the workshops. I think it has been very useful. As much as I've been around the sector for a while, I've picked up a few new things that are definitely useful for us as BEF Power. Maybe we should do a bit more interactiveness if at all possible. I know you're struggling to get some guys to talk sometimes, so we have to maybe look at how we can improve that a little bit moving forward. But other than that, yeah, no, well done so far, guys. So let's keep it up.
All right. Thank you for making time for this, and thank you for the feedback. So the next session is still another feedback session, but this now comes from the point of our facilitator. So I invite John to give us his feedback on this session so far, and if he has any word of advice for the EARF beneficiaries. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Dennis, and all of us who have attended this session, and also the ones that have been generous enough to give some feedback about how the workshops were. So from where I sit, I think since we started from the first workshop up to today, I think we've made very good progress in terms of trying to bridge the gap on the understanding of environmental and social management systems, trying to get like perspectives from the different participants in the workshops. And I think initially our formats were not that very good. They were not that interactive, but I think maybe we course corrected to ensure that all the participants have an opportunity to share their experience. Because as we said, the context matters in everything that we do, and there's no one size that fits all. So for me, I think I'm very grateful for all that participated in the workshops. And at a certain point, we started to try to give people some homework, some activity to do, so that they can get certificates. I think I'd also like to thank those people that took their time to do those activities, because they were geared towards improving their capacity also and understanding about the different topics that we covered in the workshop. So as we've said today, there are areas that are still outstanding that you'd like to get more information or training on. And I think now that goes back to CLASP and the Helpdesk to find out on ways that if there's a new series that will be done to prioritize those topics. And also the discussions that I think that has been emphasized mostly here is the issue about carbon credits, and how also they can be mobilized to be an extra income stream for the businesses. So I don't think I have much to say, but thank you for your cooperation, for your participation, and we continue to prosper in our businesses. As we said, first, for business to be sustainable, it has to give us to give a return. So I want your businesses to prosper so that you have enough resources to implement environmental and social management systems. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, John. That's a great way to summarize the series. At this point, I'll also reiterate that the Helpdesk is available on the Efficiency for Access website. So if you go onto www.efficiencyforaccess.org, under resources, you'll see the Energy Access Relief Fund Helpdesk. When you click on that, you'll be able to see recordings of the previous sessions that we've had. And also, if you'd be willing to, we can provide the assignments that we've been doing throughout those sessions, so that you can just test your knowledge on the subject matter. I would also like to apologize on behalf of my colleagues Monica and Anna, who were to drop off to join another call. But they asked me to express their gratitude to all of you for making time consistently for all these months, and including the ones for joining us for this session for the very first time, to attend, to provide you feedback on how we can improve, and to engage us throughout these sessions. So, and as the last item, we'll be conducting a survey. So we'll send out a survey to everyone who has registered for these workshops at some point, just to get your further feedback or more feedback on how we can improve, what kind of topics you would want to see, how you'd want us to change the format if you want that, and if the timing is convenient. Yeah. So there being no other business, unless there's a question or a comment from anyone in the room, I will be bringing the workshop to a close. At this point, I'd like to bring the workshop to a close. Thank you, everyone, and have a good rest of your day.
Okay, bye-bye, Dennis.
Bye,
And
Dennis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.